The shrill ring of the doorbell jolted Amanda awake. She cracked open her front door, heart pounding, to find two stern-faced police officers standing on her doorstep. "Ma'am, we've received a complaint about your security cameras. We need you to come down to the station." Amanda's mind raced. She had fought tooth and nail against her HOA's demands to remove the cameras protecting her family. Now the police were involved. What had she gotten herself into? Amanda sat nervously in the cramped interview room, hands trembling. The lead detective slid a stack of papers across the table. "We've reviewed the footage from your home security system, Mrs. Smith. It appears your HOA has been up to some shady activities, embezzlement, harassment, even physical threats against you and your family." Amanda's eyes went wide. I knew they were upset about the cameras, but I never imagined it was this bad. She thought back to the start of this ordeal, when the HOA president first showed up at her door. It had been a typical Tuesday morning. Amanda was getting the kids ready for school when the doorbell rang. A thin-lipped woman in a navy pantsuit stood on her porch, clutching a manila envelope. "Mrs. Smith, I'm Geraldine, the HOA president. We've received complaints about your security cameras. They're an eyesore and a violation of our community policies. You have 30 days to remove them, or we'll take legal action." Amanda's heart sank. Those cameras were the only thing keeping her family safe. After a recent rash of break-ins on their street, she had installed them to protect her home. "But Geraldine, these cameras have deterred crime and give me peace of mind. I'm not taking them down." Geraldine's eyes narrowed. "Well, then we'll have no choice but to fine you. And if you refuse to pay, we'll put a line on your property." She turned on her heel and stormed off the porch. Over the next month, the harassment only intensified. Geraldine showed up unannounced, demanding that Amanda remove the cameras. Neighbors who had once been friendly now glared or avoided eye contact. Strange cars began circling the block, and packages were frequently stolen from the doorstep. Amanda knew she had to take action. She reached out to the local news station, hoping to shine a light on the HOA's bullying tactics. But Geraldine caught wind of the plan and threatened to sue for defamation. Desperate, Amanda turned to the police. "We've been monitoring the situation, Mrs. Smith," the detective said. "It's clear your HOA has been abusing its power. We have enough evidence to launch a full investigation, and you may be entitled to compensation." Amanda exhaled shakily. "I just wanted to protect my family. I never imagined it would come to this." The detective leaned forward, his expression grave. "Well, you were right to fight back. This HOA has been wreaking havoc in your neighborhood for far too long. Now it's time for them to face the consequences." Amanda wrung her hands nervously as the detective laid out the disturbing details uncovered in the investigation. "It seems your HOA has been embezzling funds, intimidating homeowners, and even hiring private investigators to dig up dirt on residents who defy them." She shook her head in disbelief. "I always thought Geraldine and the others were just power-hungry busybodies, but I had no idea the extent of their corruption." The detective slid a stack of printed emails across the table. "These messages show the HOA board plotting to have your security cameras removed by any means necessary, including threats, sabotage, and false police reports." Amanda's eyes scanned the damning evidence, her stomach churning. "So they lied to the police, claiming my cameras were an invasion of privacy. And then they tried to have me arrested." "Precisely." The detective's expression hardened. "This goes far beyond a simple dispute over community policies. Your HOA has engaged in criminal behavior to maintain its iron grip on the neighborhood." Amanda felt a surge of righteous anger. They had no right to bully me and my family like that. All I wanted was to keep us safe. "We're taking this very seriously, Mrs. Smith." The detective leaned forward, his gaze intense. "Your HOA is going to answer for their actions. We've already executed search warrants and seized financial records. It's only a matter of time before the whole corrupt system comes crashing down. Amanda nodded, a glimmer of hope igniting within her. So you're saying I might actually get justice for what they've done? Absolutely. The detective offered a reassuring nod. Your persistence in standing up to this HOA has paid off. Now we're going to make sure they face the full consequences of their crimes. As Amanda left the police station, a determined resolve settled over her. She had fought hard to protect her family, and now the tables had turned. The HOA's reign of terror was about to end. The next morning, Amanda woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. She had been through hell dealing with the corrupt HOA, but now the tables had turned. The police were on her side, and she was determined to see this through to the end. As she made breakfast for the kids, a familiar red sit-in crept down the street. Amanda's grip tightened on the spatula. It was Geraldine, no doubt coming to harass her again. But this time, she wouldn't back down. The doorbell rang, and Amanda took a deep breath before swinging the door open. Geraldine. What a surprise. The HOA president's lips were pressed into a thin line. Mrs. Smith. I heard the police were sniffing around. Care to explain? Amanda crossed her arms defiantly. Actually, I don't have to explain anything to you. Your corrupt little HOA is under investigation, in case you haven't noticed. Geraldine's eyes widened in shock. Under investigation? What are you talking about? The police have uncovered your little embezzlement scheme, your threats against me and my family, all of it. Amanda felt a surge of satisfaction at the other woman's stunned expression. So I suggest you and the rest of the board lawyer up, because you're about to be in a world of trouble. Geraldine's face flushed with rage. You have no idea what you've done, you meddlesome woman. This HOA is the heart and soul of this community, and we won't let some nosy little troublemaker like you destroy it. Try me. Amanda's gaze was unwavering. You've terrorized me and my family for long enough. Now it's time for you to face the consequences of your actions. Geraldine's hands trembled as she thrust a thick envelope towards Amanda. This is the cease and desist order. You are to remove those cameras immediately, or we'll see you in court. Amanda didn't even bother to glance at the envelope. Save it, Geraldine. The police have already reviewed the footage, and they know exactly what you and the rest of the board have been up to. Your scare tactics don't work on me anymore. Geraldine's face contorted with fury. This isn't over, Mrs. Smith. Not by a long shot. She spun on her heel and stalked back to her car, tires squealing as she peeled away. Amanda closed the door, a sense of triumph swelling within her. She had stood up to the bully, and now the tables had turned. The HOA's days of terrorizing the neighborhood were numbered. Over the next few days, the neighborhood was abuzz with rumors and speculation. Word had quickly spread about the police investigation into the HOA's shady activities, and residents were divided in their reactions. Some, like Amanda, felt a sense of vindication. They had long suspected the board of corruption and abuse of power, and now their suspicions were finally being validated. Others, however, were staunchly loyal to the HOA and viewed Amanda as a troublemaker who was trying to undermine the community. As Amanda dropped her kids off at school, she couldn't help but notice the icy glares from some of the other parents. She steeled herself, determined not to let their hostility shake her resolve. Later that day, the doorbell rang, and Amanda cautiously peered through the peephole. To her surprise, it was her next-door neighbor, Sarah, a kind older woman who had always been friendly. Amanda, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I wanted to apologize for the way I've been acting lately. Sarah's eyes were filled with remorse. I should have believed you all along about the HOA. After what the police found, I feel terrible for shunning you. Amanda's expression softened. Oh, Sarah, you don't have to apologize. I know this whole situation has been so divisive for the neighborhood. That's no excuse, Sarah insisted. I let Geraldine and the others manipulate me, and I turned my back on you when you needed support the most. She shook her head sadly. I just hope you can forgive me." Amanda reached out and squeezed Sarah's hand. "Of course I forgive you. I'm just glad the truth is finally coming to light." Sarah nodded, a grateful smile spreading across her face. "Well, I for one am not going to stand by and let the HOA continue their reign of terror. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know." "Actually, there is." Amanda's expression hardened with determination. "I need to start rallying the other homeowners who are fed up with the board's corruption. We need to band together and demand their resignation." "Consider it done." Sarah's eyes gleamed with resolve. "I'll start making phone calls and setting up a community meeting. It's time we take back our neighborhood." As Sarah hurried away, Amanda felt a surge of hope. With the police investigation underway and the community mobilizing, the corrupt HOA's days were numbered. She was more determined than ever to see this through to the end. The community meeting was a standing room-only affair, with emotions running high. Residents packed into the cramped community center, their voices a cacophony of outrage and disbelief. Amanda stood beside Sarah, scanning the sea of faces. She recognized many of her neighbors, some who had once shunned her, now eager to show their support. The tide was turning, and she could feel the momentum building. Finally, Geraldine and the rest of the HOA board members filed into the room, their expressions a mix of defiance and unease. The crowd immediately erupted into a chorus of boos and jeers. Geraldine raised her hands, her tone dripping with condescension. Now, everyone, let's please try to maintain some civility here." A burly man in the front row stood up, his face flushed with anger. "Civility? After what you and your corrupt little board have done to this community, I don't think so." Geraldine's eyes narrowed. "I don't know what you're talking about. The HOA has always acted in the best interests of our neighborhood." "That's a load of crap, and you know it." A woman near the back of the room shouted. "We've got the police reports to prove you've been embezzling funds and harassing innocent homeowners." The room erupted into a cacophony of outraged shouts and demands. Geraldine's face had turned beet red, and she frantically waved her hands, trying in vain to restore order. Finally, Amanda stepped forward, raising her hands for silence. "Everyone, please. I know you're all angry, and you have every right to be. But we need to stay focused and united if we're going to take our neighborhood back." The crowd's volume gradually subsided, and Amanda continued, her voice firm and resolute. "The police have uncovered the truth about the corruption and abuses of power within our HOA. Now it's time for Geraldine and the rest of the board to step down and face the consequences of their actions." A roar of approval swept through the room, and Amanda felt a surge of pride. She'd fought hard to expose the truth, and now her fellow homeowners were ready to join the fight. Geraldine's face contorted with fury. "This is an outrage. You can't just barge in here and demand our resignations." "Actually, we can." Amanda's gaze was unwavering. "The community has spoken, Geraldine. It's time for you and your cronies to go." As the meeting descended into chaos, Amanda knew that the tide had finally turned. The long nightmare of the corrupt HOA was coming to an end. In the aftermath of the tumultuous community meeting, the once powerful HOA board found itself in a precarious position. With the police investigation closing in and the majority of residents demanding their resignations, Geraldine and her cohorts were desperately scrambling to maintain their grip on power. Amanda watched with a mixture of relief and apprehension as the former HOA president paced the length of her living room, her face etched with a combination of rage and fear. "This is an absolute outrage." Geraldine fumed, her manicured nails digging into the palms of her hands. "Those ungrateful homeowners have no idea what they're doing. We've worked tirelessly to maintain the integrity of this community, and this is how we're repaid." Amanda stifled a sardonic laugh. "Integrity? Is that what you call embezzling funds and harassing innocent families?" She shook her head in disgust. "You and the rest of the board have betrayed the trust of this entire neighborhood." Geraldine's eyes narrowed to slits. You have no idea what you've started, Mrs. Smith. This HOA is the very fabric that holds this community together. Without us, everything will fall apart. That's where you're wrong. Amanda crossed her arms defiantly. The community has already started to heal, now that the truth has come to light. People are ready to take back control and rebuild what you've so casually destroyed. Geraldine let out a humorless laugh. Oh, they think they can just waltz in and take over. Well, they've got another thing coming. She leaned forward, her gaze burning with malice. I've got dirt on every single one of those so-called concerned citizens. If they think they can just oust me and the board, they're sorely mistaken. Amanda felt a chill run down her spine. What are you talking about, Geraldine? I'm talking about leverage, my dear. Geraldine's lips curled into a sinister smile. We've been keeping tabs on everyone in this neighborhood for years. Skeletons in closets, secrets buried deep. We know it all. And we're not going down without a fight. The realization dawned on Amanda, and her stomach twisted with dread. You're blackmailing them. Geraldine's eyes glinted with triumph. Call it what you will. But the bottom line is, these people are terrified of having their dirty laundry aired in public. And they'll do whatever it takes to keep that from happening. Amanda's mind raced, trying to process the implications of Geraldine's chilling revelation. The HOA's corruption ran deeper than she ever could have imagined. And now, it seemed, the battle for the neighborhood's future had only just begun. The news of Geraldine's blackmail scheme sent shockwaves through the community, shattering the fragile unity that had started to take root. Residents who had previously been eager to oust the corrupt HOA board now found themselves paralyzed by fear, unwilling to risk having their deepest secrets exposed. Amanda watched helplessly as the momentum for change ground to a halt. Neighbors who had once been eager to join the fight now avoided eye contact or made up excuses to leave hastily when she approached them. They're terrified, Sarah. Amanda confided to her trusted friend, her frustration palpable. Geraldine has them all by the throat, and they're too scared to do anything about it. Sarah's brow furrowed with concern. But we can't just let the HOA continue their reign of terror. Not after everything they've done. I know, Amanda sighed, her shoulders sagging with the weight of it all. But what choice do we have? Geraldine's made it clear she's willing to destroy us all to stay in power. Just then, a shrill ring pierced the air, and Amanda hurried to answer her phone. Hello. Mrs. Smith, this is Detective Hartley. We've been monitoring the situation, and we have reason to believe Geraldine and the HOA board are planning something dangerous. Amanda's heart skipped a beat. Dangerous? What do you mean? We've received intelligence that they're considering hiring a private security firm to forcibly remove anyone who opposes them from the neighborhood. The detective explained, his voice grave. They're desperate to cling to power, and they're willing to go to extreme lengths to do it. Amanda felt a chill run down her spine. Oh my God. We have to warn the others, get them to safety before. The detective cut her off. That's exactly what we're working on, Mrs. Smith. We've already alerted the local authorities and are preparing to intervene. But we need your help. Amanda's mind raced, her hands trembling. Anything. What do you need me to do? We need you to gather as many of your neighbors as possible and get them to a secure location, the detective instructed. We'll be there to provide protection, but we need to move quickly before the HOA makes its move. Amanda swallowed hard, her resolve hardening. Consider it done. I'm on it. As she hung up the phone, Sarah placed a reassuring hand on her arm. What's going on, Amanda? The HOA is planning something terrible, Amanda said, her voice tinged with fear and determination. We have to get everyone to safety before it's too late. Without another word, the two women sprang into action, racing to warn their neighbors and gather them at the community center. The battle for their neighborhood had just taken an even more dangerous turn, and they knew they had to act fast to prevent a catastrophic outcome. The community center was in a state of panicked chaos as Amanda and Sarah ushered in a steady stream of terrified neighbors. Word had spread quickly about the HOA's suspected plan to forcibly remove any dissenters, and the once divided residents now found themselves united in their fear and desperation. Just as the last few stragglers crossed the threshold, the sound of sirens pierced the air. Within minutes, the parking lot was swarming with police officers, their faces grim and their hands resting on their holsters. Amanda rushed to the entrance, her heart pounding. What's happening? Are we safe? The lead detective, Hartley, approached her, his expression grave. We just received word that the HOA has mobilized a private security team. They're en route to the community center as we speak. Amanda's blood ran cold. Oh my God. We have to get everyone out of here now. Hartley shook his head. There's no time. We've got officers securing the perimeter, but you and the other residents need to stay put. This is going to get ugly. As if on cue, a convoy of black SUVs came screeching into the lot, their tinted windows obscuring the faces of the occupants. The police officers tensed, their hands tightening around their weapons. Suddenly, the SUVs lurched to a halt, and a swarm of burly men in tactical gear spilled out, their movements swift and coordinated. Amanda watched in horror as they advanced toward the community center, their expressions hardened with determination. This is the police. Hartley's voice boomed through a megaphone. Stand down and surrender, or we will use force. The private security forces hesitated, their eyes darting from the police to the community center. Amanda held her breath, praying that they would back down. But then, just as Hartley was about to give the order to open fire, a familiar figure stepped forward. Geraldine, her face a mask of twisted triumph. This is our community, and we'll do whatever it takes to protect it. She shouted, her voice dripping with venom. You have no right to interfere. The security team surged forward, only to be met with a wall of blue uniforms and drawn weapons. A deafening volley of gunshots erupted, and Amanda watched in horror as the two sides clashed in a violent collision. In the chaos, she found Sarah's hand and squeezed it tightly, her own heart racing. This can't be happening, she whispered, her voice trembling. But as the smoke cleared and the dust settled, a stunning sight emerged. The private security forces lay scattered on the ground, their weapons confiscated, while the HOA board members were being led away in handcuffs, their faces contorted with disbelief. Hartley approached Amanda, a weary but triumphant smile on his face. It's over, Mrs. Smith. Your persistence and courage have brought this corrupt HOA down, once and for all. Amanda felt a wave of relief wash over her, her shoulders sagging as the tension drained from her body. I can't believe it's really over, she murmured, her eyes brimming with tears. As the residents of the community emerged from the safety of the center, a collective sigh of relief and gratitude filled the air. The nightmare was finally over, and justice had been served. Amanda knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but with her neighbors by her side, she was ready to rebuild their neighborhood, stronger and more united than ever before.